Good afternoon, White Pine County School District. This is your Superintendent Adam Young, and I have the great pleasure this afternoon of being joined by Jenny Wilson, extraordinary preschool teacher here in McGill Elementary. Welcome and thanks for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. I feel honored to have this opportunity.
Well, one of my favorite things to do, I have to say, as a superintendent, is to visit this classroom, our other preschool classroom as well, our kindergarten classrooms. Uh, I love every minute that I spend in these rooms, and every minute that I spend makes me so thankful that we have people who this is what they love to do.
Well, thank you. It's a happy place intentionally. We are laying some foundations, and it's a funny thing. Kids learn a whole lot better when they're having fun. So why not let them have fun?
I love it. And it's so obvious in here that they just love you. They love the other adult support that they have, and they love coming to school and learning in the way that you facilitate.
Developmentally appropriate practices are really amazing, and it's part of my soapbox if I could get them to carry on into upper grades so that kids have the chance to learn at their level in a way that is fun and engaging and not punishing.
Yeah.
It's truly a miracle. We are blessed to have the opportunity here.
So, how did you first become involved in the McGill pre-K program?
Um, well, I was working at the radio station. And so I wrote all of the commercials and I did a ton of interviews. And so I spent a lot of my day writing. And I thought, well, I'm fairly good at writing. And I saw that there was a need for it. So, you know what? I'm going to go back to school and I'm going to be a ELA teacher at the middle school. And I started back in GBC and we did some practicums at the middle school, and I realized that's not my scene at all. So, in the meantime, I was looking for a job, and we had just received this brand new early childhood grant that funded a McGill pre K, and it was brand new. And it meant that we started in April, and in order to get the full 4 months, we had to go through the month of June after everybody else was out of school. And I applied for the position, and Caroline hired me, and I started working at pre-K, and it was so much fun, and it was just kind of an amazing fit. And even then, I never anticipated that it would become my career. It was just going to be the job that I was doing to get my foot in the door in the educational world. And it just, one thing happened after another, and I've been here ever since.
So, how did that first initial kind of foot in the door turn into this thing that you're so passionate about and that you love and that you're extremely skilled at?
I had some fantastic mentors. I had some of the best mentors in the whole world. I had, like I said, Caroline, Cookie McDonald at the time was doing the grants. I had Melanie Griffith was my lead teacher, and her passion is beyond next level, and she's fun. And we also had Julie Kirsch was here, and Margaret Teal was here, and we had all of these amazing people who lived their career and they felt it with their whole soul. And to be on a staff with people who care that much all the time, especially since I had never experienced anything else, how could you be anything less than that? And we were just kind of the special little baby program that everybody helped along and nurtured through our initial startup steps. So it was a pretty magical time and a really amazing place.
Yeah. And that speaks to the power of educators who really, like you said, kind of it's a calling. It's not, I mean, of course it's a job, but more than that, it's a calling,
Yes.
and you live it, you breathe it, and how can you not be passionate about it?
Yes.
And those people make a huge difference on students, obviously, but also on
Yes.
adults as well,
Yes.
as evident by
And
you.
still do well. And Holly Marriage was
Yeah.
another one. And so many of those people are still helping teachers become better teachers, and they're still in the field in their own little
Yeah.
way and still helping out and have definitely made a mark.
Yeah. What does the day of a pre-K teacher look like?
You never know. That's one of my favorite parts about my job. You never know. We have lesson plans ish. It's really more of a, okay, well, this is kind of what we're planning on going, but it's largely student directed. And so in order to engage them fully, you want to follow their interest areas. And if they're interested in something, you need to find a way to bring other academic content into that interest area. The majority of our time is spent at free centers. That's where the students select which center they're going to play in. The teacher's job isn't to pull them out and make them sit at a table and drill them. It's to bring the content in. As we're building with blocks, we are talking about shapes. We are talking about balance. We are running the cars down ramps and measuring how far they go and if that has anything to do with the angle of the ramp that we are building. As we build, we're talking about how to lay the foundations. And do we put the bigger one on the top or do we put the bigger one on the bottom? How do we build this? In the home center, we are talking about grocery lists, and so we're writing, and we're making recipes, and so we're writing, and we're on the phone, and so we're writing phone numbers, and we're looking through the phone book, and we're engaging those literacy skills not just in writing and reading, but more importantly at this stage in their language ability, getting them to communicate with each other, which for an egocentric 4-year-old is kind of a stretch. But if they can communicate with each other and expand their vocabulary and become effective verbally, they're going to have a much better opportunity to be effective with written and graphic language. So it happens in every center. It's wild and free and fun. They're learning how to be human. They're learning how to get along, how
Yeah.
to get their toys back without bopping somebody on the head with it first.
Mhm.
It's all of those cool social things. That's wonderful.
I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it anyway for our audience out there. So, when a student goes into kindergarten, what's the feedback that you get from kindergarten teachers about, being able to kind of discern which students have had a pre-K experience versus which ones have not had a pre-K experience?
Walk into any kindergarten and you will immediately know which children have had a positive early childhood experience and which children haven't. In pre-K, it's not just about learning academic content. Our standards also cover social emotional. And we talk about self-help skills and we work on fine motor skills and gross motor skills. We are learning how to go to school. We learn how to sit still. We learn how to listen and engage with a story. As I mentioned, we learn how to get along with our peers. We
Yeah.
learn how to take turns. We learn that sharing doesn't mean I get it right now. It means we can take turns with it or we can find a way to synergize and work on it together. Kids who go to kindergarten who have had a positive early childhood experience know how to go to school.
Yeah.
They know how to follow procedures. They know how to go to centers. The gravy is they also know how to write their names. They usually have all of those foundational literacy skills. They know their sounds. They know their alphabet. They've got all of these wonderful phonemic awareness abilities. They are ready for this. They can count,
Yeah.
they can quantify, they can add, they can subtract. They understand what's expected.
So let's maybe zoom out for a second because back, just a couple of years ago when you and I were early learners, um, there really were no state-funded pre-K programs, and even kindergarten was maybe
Optional.
3 hours,
Yeah,
and
it was
and many
part-time.
didn't go. And so now we're in this environment where not only is kindergarten in Nevada full day kindergarten, but your program and the program at David E. Norman, these are both full day
Full day
pre-Ks
programs.
as well. So,
Yes.
like, what, I mean, maybe speak to that as far as just the big picture of the importance of this early learning experience for educational outcomes?
When we first started the pre-K program, the emphasis was on research. And so following all of our students longitudinally as they progressed through their academic careers was a top priority. And we had all of these neat little tools in place to do that. What we have learned from that, not just in Nevada, but nationwide, early childhood is our best opportunity to front load information, front load skills, help children before they really need help. When kids start kindergarten, they can already be as far as 5 years behind their peers, which is nuts. They're only 5. But when they can start kindergarten and they're ready for school and they already have these foundational skills, Head Start is a great term because it doesn't just give them a head start, but even start seems to be
Mm.
even a better term because we want our kids to be prepared for kindergarten, and kindergarten they have to hit the ground running.
Yeah.
There's 1 or 2 adults in there, and there's so much content that they have to shove into their little
Yeah.
brains. If they're not ready for that, it's going to hurt.
Yeah. And that just makes me think a little bit about, again, how different that experience is now from back in the day. And I think many of us as parents and grandparents, we remember kindergarten as being nap time and
Mhm.
snack time and lots of recess. And for better or for worse, as states and the nation have kind of, evolved their educational standards and expectations, kindergarten is not that anymore.
It's not even
It is a
close.
pretty
No.
rigorous experience where there
Yeah.
there are definitive academic outcomes that these students are supposed to be able to attain while they're in that year, and
Mhm.
um, so so it's almost like preschool is the new
Become the new
kindergarten. Yeah,
kindergarten. It
yeah,
really, really is. And as we see it progress, even in the last 20 years that I've been involved with it, and we see the vast benefits of it, we realize every dollar that we spend in pre-K is going to save us thousands, if not millions, later on in the future, both in remediation and unfortunately incarceration.
yeah.
So we can spend it now or we can spend it later, but kids definitely benefit from it. And we have a ton of evidence that shows why it's justified.
Uh, so interesting, so interesting, and I am incredibly grateful for the work that you do, that your team does here in your classroom. Do you want to shout anyone else out today while we're talking?
Well, my team, I have the best team anywhere in the world. I really, really, really think we've been together for a really long time. Kathy and Angela are, um, well, I have 2 right hands. So they're amazing. And this year we also have a special education aide, Brandy, who has made amazing progress with her student. And it's not usual that you can have such a close-knit team of 3 and add a fourth and have it still balance, but this one does. And Jonas has done a really lovely job in Ely picking that up and moving it forward and making those kids shine. You can see when you watch him, it's in his heart.
Yeah,
He does a great job.
I completely agree with that. Um, Thank you. Thanks for all of your hard work. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks
And
for having me.
yeah, have an amazing rest of the afternoon.
Absolutely. It's glorious. Enjoy the sunshine for about 5 more minutes.
That's right. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Catch you
Thank
next time.
you.